Alright everybody, I'm back with another video. This is going to be my first round of the 2020 NFL Draft, my mock draft, I'll say. I'm not gonna have any situations where a team trades up or they trade down. So this is just as is, straight down the line. No surprise trades or anything like that. I don't know if and or when either of these teams will trade up or down or whatever until draft night. So, with that being said, let's jump right into the number one overall pick. This one's no secret. I think everybody and their mother already knows this one. With the number one overall pick for the Cincinnati Bengals, I can already imagine Roger Goodell saying the following words. With the number one overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Joe Burrow, quarterback, LSU. And the last I checked, Joe Burrow didn't quit football to join the circus or run for political office or announce intentions to retire or anything from football to partake in other adventure or anything. So, unless something like that happens, he's going to Cincinnati. But also keep in mind, Andy Dalton remains under contract with Cincinnati. But then again, the Bengals could still either trade him or cut him without facing a cap penalty. What all that means for Joe Burrow, I don't know. But anyway, it'll be a sight to see, seeing Bayou Joe going from one set of tiger stripes to another, and going from the purple and gold of the purple, gold, and white of LSU to the orange, white, and black of Cincinnati. But we worry about that when the time comes. Number two overall pick, the Washington Redskins. This one was a toss-up for me. I'm going to say they go with the next best pick, and that's Chase Young, defensive end out of Ohio State. He's 260 pounds. He's 6 foot 6.5 inches tall, and he's a rare defensive prospect with an elite overall skill set. And passing on him would just be hard to fathom. He's without limitations and any minor concerns about his projection to the next level or minor as far as I said. And say he goes to the Washington Redskins, he just might be able to add that little bit of additional pizzazz that the defensive line was lacking. So we'll see how well that pans out if he goes there. Number three, the Detroit Lions. I predict they take Jeff Okudah, cornerback out of Ohio State. He's 6'1", he's 200 pounds, he's fast, and he's a lockdown cornerback who could potentially accelerate the departure from Detroit of Darius Slade Jr., if the rumors are true that he's going to be either getting traded or released, that is. Excuse me. Number four. Let's see, I have my notes here. Number four, Andrew Thomas, offensive tackle out of the University of Georgia. I like this pick. Not just because the Georgia Bulldogs are one of my other all-time favorite college football teams, but just because of the overall player that Andrew Thomas is in this instance. Go down the checklist for the New York Giants. You have a future franchise quarterback in Daniel Jones. I was going to say you have the veteran leadership in Eli Manning, but he's gone. But for the New York Giants, this is a very good draft for or any team looking for an offensive tackle. This is a very good draft, and one of the teams, in my opinion, that are in need of an offensive tackle and should get one in the first round are the New York Giants. They've had a bad offensive line for quite a while now, and Sometimes you don't have to complicate things even in a mock draft, but some people go to that extent of, this team, this team should select this guy, or this team should trade down for that guy, or that team should trade up for this guy, And this is one of those things where I think with the New York Giants, if they stay where they're at number 4, and they get the opportunity to grab an offensive tackle, and they grab one the likes of Andrew Thomas, I say good for them. They should be able to seize the opportunity while they still can. Number 5, the Miami Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback out of Alabama. I want to say while he was at the Senior Bowl, I didn't watch much of the coverage from the Senior Bowl, but I think while the general manager of the Dolphins was at the Senior Bowl, Chris Greer, he stressed the importance of intangibles in a quarterback, and in my opinion, if any quarterback in this draft defines that kind of undefinable trait in terms of quarterback intangibles, it's Tagovailoa. As much as I like Joe Burrow, the best thing for Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins would be that he can be sitting behind Ryan Fitzpatrick for a year or two and get healthy, for at least his rookie year. But anyway, say Tagovailoa goes to Miami. Let's see what he does in training camp. Let's see what he's made of in the preseason. How are things going to go between now and the next 6.5 months or so from now. And I know it's only the middle of February, but we still have a long way to go. But it'll be quite the sight to see. I'm not even a Miami Dolphins fan, but I was thinking about all these various scenarios. Who's going to go to what team, and will they turn out to be good picks or bad picks? But I think if Tua Tagovailoa goes to Miami, I think he'll be a good fit down there. Excuse me. Speaking of quarterbacks, I'm gonna go with another quarterback here. This one might throw some people through a real loop, but here it goes. With the number 6th overall pick, I predict with the San Diego Chargers, they select Justin Herbert, quarterback out of Oregon. While rumors about Phillip Rivers continue to make the rounds, San Diego should take him even if Phillip Rivers decides to stay with him, because with the right development, he has all the makings of a franchise quarterback, franchise/future quarterback in San Diego once Phillip Rivers leaves, if he does. The way I see it, I don't think Phillip Rivers is going anywhere. But if the rumors come to pass that he ends up either getting traded or he ends up leaving and going somewhere else in free agency, then we see what happens. Number 7, the Carolina Panthers. I predict they go with Derek Brown, defensive tackle out of Auburn. I'm going to give you a little rundown as far as what all I know about the Carolina Panthers, because they're one of my other favorite football teams in the NFL. Vernon Butler was a disappointment, and if Carolina lets him walk in free agency, as far as I'm concerned, that would be one of the best moves that we could have made in recent memory. Gerald McCoy, I believe he's a free agent now. Some people are saying to let him go. I don't think so. Give McCoy another year or two. Let's see what happens, and if things don't work out, then we cut bait. But say Gerald McCoy and Vernon Butler end up leaving Carolina, that could leave Carolina in a tough spot of needing another new running mate, I'll say, for Kawan Short on the inside. And I believe that Derek Brown could convincingly go as high as the 3rd pick, but hopefully not, because I think there's still some value at number 7. Say he's still available. Number 8, the Arizona Cardinals. I predict they take Jedrick Willis, offensive tackle out of Alabama. my thought in this was, could somebody please block for Kyler Murray? And I think Jedrick Willis is the right candidate for the job. He's one of the he was one of the many national treasures in college football this past year, and I think with someone like Jedrick Willis, especially with the size, imagine Kyler Murray getting help from someone like him, for example, on the offensive line. Imagine Kyler Murray making the jump in his development like what Lamar Jackson Jr. did this past season. Kyler Murray's got all the natural talent to do so, but he needs a lot of help around him, and I think Jedrick Willis is going to be one of those many key pieces to help him out. Number 9, the Jacksonville Jaguars. This pick might sound a little crazy, but this is the best one I've got. I'm just going by my own list here, so here it goes. I predict Jacksonville goes with Tristan Wirfs, the offensive tackle out of Iowa. One of these days, the Jaguars are going to finally get their offensive line fully fixed, or so you would think, right? But from some of the footage I've seen of him on YouTube and a couple of games I'd seen on TV, he's an athletic blocker. He's got bad intentions on the field. He's a bulldozer in the power running game, and he loves to run through linebackers and secondary defenders when he's tasked. As far as working as a lead blocker in the space, or a lead blocker in space, excuse me. His toughness and his raw power, I think they'll ultimately help transform him into a key player in the NFL, and also shift the tone of whatever offensive line it is that takes him. And I think in this case it'll be Jacksonville's. Especially if he's asked to play inside, he'll really utilize that toughness and raw power. He's got tremendous ability in space. He's a strong anchor. He's got fluid feet. He's got explosive pads, and he's scheme diverse, and his candidacy to kick inside will only provide greater value to protect against a collapsing pocket. So, have him at offensive tackle, but maybe during training camp, have him run through a couple of rounds at right tackle, just for a shot. Maybe use him as a right tackle occasionally, but put him primarily as offensive tackle. But it'll be a real one of those many things you can experiment with between now and the time the regular season starts. Number 10, the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to go with Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton out of Louisville, offensive tackle. New general manager, new offensive coordinator, new coach, new everything right now for Cleveland. I want to say the new general manager's name is Andrew Berry. But now the question becomes, will Andrew Berry hold at number 10, or will he trade back? As far as I'm concerned, I don't think that really matters at this point, because the Cleveland Browns need to come out of the first round with an offensive tackle. If not Mekhi Becton, maybe the next available offensive tackle that's on the board. But I think he's a suitable fit for Cleveland. He's a hot name. He could help bolster the running attack, and he also has the strength to do so. But again, we never know until draft night what all happens. So we still have a way to go. With the number 11th overall pick, I'm going to go with for the New York Jets. I predict they go with CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver out of Oklahoma, and I think the fit of CeeDee Lamb in the offense for the New York Jets is a good one, especially if they let Robbie Anderson walk in free agency. CeeDee Lamb averaged approximately 21.5 yards per catch last year, and I think he'd be a nice deep ball threat for Sam Darnold. Number 12. Excuse me. number 12, I'm going to go with another one of my favorite teams. And that would happen to be the Oakland Raiders. I was bouncing back and forth between this pick for the Raiders and if he's lucky, maybe he's still on the board by the time they get to him. I don't know, but we'll see. I predict with the 12th overall pick for the Oakland Raiders, they go with Isaiah Simmons out of Clemson. He's a linebacker. Actually, this is more like a quote-unquote run to the podium pick for Oakland, because if the Giants, for example, pass on someone like him at number 4, there's an outside shot that he could slip down this far and still be signed by Oakland. And at this point, as far as I'm concerned, anybody right now is a suitable upgrade over Vontaze Burfict. And from some of the footage I've seen of Isaiah Thomas on various games on television, at least the bits and pieces I've seen out of him, he's as good as advertised. He just might help Oakland and help out at least some of their problems on defense. Number 13, I'm gonna go for the Indianapolis Colts. I'm sorry, Indianapolis Colts are next at number 13. Here I predict another wide receiver goes off the board. I predict they go with Jerry Jeudy out of Alabama. And the most natural comparison for him is former Colts wide receiver Marvin Harrison. Jerry Jeudy's not a flashy super speed receiver, nor is he a big body jump ball guy, but he's smart with his routes. He has exceptional speed, and he has some of the best. He has the best set of hands for a wide receiver. If you're in dire need of one in the first round, I think Jerry Jeudy just might solve some of your problems on your receiving core. I was actually tempted to take Jerry Jeudy and put him on the New York Jets and have CeeDee Lamb go to the Colts, but I think this will work just fine. The 14th overall pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I predict they go with Josh Jones, offensive tackle out of the University of Houston. Assuming Tampa Bay adds a veteran quarterback or they end up keeping famous Jameis, an upgrade is definitely needed on their offensive line early in the draft, and I think they get it here. Because even if 4 other offensive tackles end up going ahead of them, Tampa Bay can still get a quality player out of Josh Jones. He's got violent hands, he's fast, he has the size, and he's a fleet-footed tackle. So I think Tampa Bay will have made a good pick with this selection. Number 15. This one, I'm going to say it all depends on who you have at quarterback. I predict another wide receiver goes off the board. For Denver, I'm going to say at number 15, Henry Ruggs III, wide receiver out of Alabama. According to what I've heard and seen on some videos on YouTube, there are some Denver Broncos fans all over the internet that are already taking a liking to this guy, and they're hoping that he goes in the first round. But maybe this video will deliver the exact same things that they want to, but we'll see. But on the other hand, I think it makes sense sending him to Denver because if you have Drew Lock at quarterback, for example, he has an impressive arm and he can push the ball deep downfield to a speedy receiver like Henry Ruggs III. And think, especially with him, think of the key word right now: speed. He's fast. You know, I want to say for his height, I want to say he's like 6'1.5", 6'1.5", somewhere around there. But assuming Drew Lock is the quarterback going into the 2021 NFL season, I think he'll have just gotten himself another key weapon in the receiving core in Henry Ruggs III. We'll have to wait and see. Or maybe it could be Joe Flacco. Maybe Joe Flacco goes the whole season without getting hurt, and he ends up throwing the ball to him too. You never know. Moving on, number 16, the Atlanta Falcons. I predict they go with Javon Kinlaw, defensive tackle out of South Carolina. After a strong Senior Bowl week, from what I heard, some people on Atlanta were already making the predictions, saying that we already know what we're going to do in the draft. We already know who we're going to go after, and we know who it is. So, what we're looking for, who it is, and when we're going to get them. So, while people have said for many, many years the Atlanta Falcons need to get pressure from the edge, I think Javon Kinlaw can help do it up the middle, especially with his speed. He's a quality player, and he's a raw talent. Speaking of talent, and one of my other favorite teams, who I happen to be wearing right now, the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to probably hate myself for this prediction, but here it goes anyway. At number 17 with the Dallas Cowboys, I predict we get Grant Delpit, the safety out of LSU. Now, unless you want to count experimenting with Byron Jones at the safety position, unless you want to count experimenting with that, the Dallas Cowboys technically haven't taken a safety in the first 3 rounds of the draft since Roy Williams back in 2002. Roy A. Williams was on the defense. Roy E. Williams was the wide receiver. I believe he went in 2004, if I remember correctly, but that's neither here nor there. Grant Delpit might not be a big hitter like what Roy Williams is, but I think he'll be able to solve some of the problems. Some of the long-standing problems at safety that the Dallas Cowboys have had for quite a while, and we'll see. Will he pan out or will he fizzle out? I don't know. I think he pans out for us because he looked great. He looked great during that 15-0 season with LSU, but now you have to look forward to the NFL draft and whomever it is that picks you. you have to get ready to put on a showing for him. And I think if in the event or events that the Cowboys end up taking Grant Delpit, he'll help us out a lot. I'm quite confident of that. The number 18th overall pick, Miami Dolphins again. This was their pick from the Pittsburgh Steelers. That reminds me of a side note. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the St. Louis Rams, the Chicago Bears, and the Houston Texans don't have picks in the first round. So, what would have been the Pittsburgh Steelers pick at number 18 is going to the Miami Dolphins. I predict they go for A.J. Epinesa, the defensive end out of Iowa. Putting a player like him on a defensive line with the likes of Christian Wilkins, for example, would give Miami a formidable group up front. He might not be a classic speed rusher, but he would definitely give Brian Flores a versatile player here. And especially if you look up some of the game clips on him, for example, if you're Miami, you're both hoping and praying that they select him on your defensive line. That would be quite the pick, don't you think? I certainly do. Anyway, number 19, back to the Oakland Raiders. Via my Chicago Bears. This would have been their pick, but we're going back to Oakland again. Laviska Shenault Jr., wide receiver out of Colorado. Some people are saying, you've probably never even heard of this player. Well, I haven't, but this is a dark horse pick for me as far as the Oakland Raiders. I predict they go for a wide receiver and literally someone who I've never even heard of, and I think this might be the key piece, especially with Oakland, because if you want to keep up with division rivals like the Kansas City Chiefs, for example, you have to score more than 19.5 points per game like what you did last year. Excuse me. So by that, the way I see it, that means getting much better at the wide receiver core, where a guy like Tyrell Williams, for example, he was an underwhelming acquisition at free agent this year, in my opinion. But I think Laviska Shenault Jr. has legitimate number one receiver potential with his all-around skill set. He's fast, he's got the height, and if given the chance or chances to maybe catch some deep passes from Derek Carr, then we might probably be looking at a key talent that everyone probably wanted to underwrite a long time ago, but he might make a big name for himself. Who knows? Number 20, the Jacksonville Jaguars again. I believe this pick would have been for the St. Louis Rams, but Jacksonville acquired this pick. I want to say this was during the Jalen Ramsey trade. Number 20, I predict C.J. Henderson, cornerback out of Florida, because after trading Jalen Ramsey, the Jacksonville Jaguars are in need of a top-line cornerback, and I think C.J. Henderson would be key here, even though he doesn't have the best tackling skills. He's a quality cornerback in every area, and on the flip side, who needs to tackle when you could just shut down a receiver, right? Yeah, I agree. Number 21, the Philadelphia Eagles. With the 21st overall pick, the Philadelphia Eagles, I predict they go with a wide receiver. I predict they take T. Higgins out of Clemson. He's an incredible jump ball receiver, and he'll probably give Carson Wentz the type of weapon at the position that he just doesn't have. All due respect to Nelson Aguilar and Alshon Jeffrey. You need a little more help at the receiving core, and I think T. Higgins is the answer. Number 22, the Buffalo Bills. I predict another receiver goes off the board, and actually this one just might come as a little bit of a surprise to me. Justin Jefferson out of LSU. I thought I saw a quotation somewhere from Bills general manager Brandon Beane, who said in the offseason, we need to upgrade at wide receiver, and I completely agree. While a bigger target like T. Higgins, for example, would probably be preferred, I think Justin Jefferson has decent enough size, and he's also showed this season that he knows how to create space after the catch. Space, yardage, and touchdowns. If I were to sum it up to three things, what else after the catch? What all else he's able to do? And, I think that'd be it. As far as the height and the speed, I want to say Justin Jefferson's just a little bit taller than T. Higgins. We're about the same height, but the speed for both of these gentlemen is a wash. But Justin Jefferson to Buffalo at 22 and T. Higgins going to Philadelphia at 21 sounds reasonable. Number 23, the New England Patriots. I don't even know why I selected this pick, but it's the next best one. At least as far as one of those far out there, why in the heck would you even think about a type of picks? May there be egg on my face if this prediction doesn't come to pass, but here it goes. I predict the Patriots select Jordan Love, the quarterback out of Utah State. If the Patriots didn't think that Jarrett Stidham is their future at quarterback, I think they have to take a player like Jordan Love in this draft. I mean, his accuracy, granted, has been shaky at times, but he's got a special skill set, and in the right situation, he could be a real star. Will he be the second coming of Tom Brady or something? No, but on the other hand, rumors going around still that Tom Brady's going to leave the Patriots. I don't think so, but we'll see. Number 24, the New Orleans Saints. This one was a real. I was on the fence on this one. I figured either a wide receiver or an edge rusher goes in the first round. But I think at number 24, the New Orleans Saints, I think they take a cornerback. Excuse me. I think they take Trevon Diggs, cornerback out of Alabama. Granted, an edge rusher or a wide receiver would be intriguing with this pick, but on the other hand, it would also be hard to pass up a talent like Diggs at 24. He matches up well with bigger receivers. He has impressive size for cornerback, and he has the speed. Yeah, he's got the power. He's got the speed to be one of the best in the National Football League. I know it was a cheesy line or reference from Go Cubs Go. I also have baseball in the brain. I'm sorry, but anyway, I think this would be a good pick. I mean, cornerback, wide receiver, edge rusher, you can't go wrong with either one of these. But I think they go corner, and Trevon Diggs is the answer here. I mean, what more could you want aside from with having Von Bell and Eli Apple? I mean, you got those two to help complement them as well on the defense, help lock that down. Number 25, Minnesota Vikings. I predict they go with Austin Jackson, offensive tackle out of USC. And what the Vikings do in the draft will depend on what they do with Riley Reiff in the offseason. If he's left at tackle, that could end up being a corner. They could probably end up going with a cornerback, but if Reiff is moving on the inside, a tackle such as Jackson could fit the Minnesota Vikings, especially with his size too. I don't remember what his height and weight are, but he's got the speed most certainly. So if Riley Reiff is left at tackle, then I think Minnesota does an about face and they draft a corner, but I don't think any of that's going to happen. Number 6, the Miami Dolphins. They make a. This was their. This would have been the pick from the Houston Texans, but Miami Dolphins. I predict they go offense. I predict they take Isaiah. What was his name? I'm sorry, I drew a blank. Yeah, Isaiah Wilson, offensive tackle out of Georgia. I was thinking of another player out of Georgia. Andrew Thomas. Yeah, so 2 offensive tackles out of the University of Georgia end up going to separate teams. My notes are all over the place today. I'm sorry. Anyway, number 26, the Miami Dolphins. I predict they go Isaiah Wilson, offensive tackle out of the University of Georgia. Other than a center, I think the Miami Dolphins need to upgrade at every position on the offensive line. I mean, just like, I mean, look at my Chicago Bears, for example. I've been saying the same thing about them for the past 5 or 6 years. Offense, defense, here, there, and everywhere. We need an upgrade. Draft a kicker or a punter in the first round for all I care. I don't give a flying rip who you take or where the guy went to school from. Where I don't care where he went to school at or what position he plays. We need help everywhere. But that's another story for another day. Anyway, with the Miami Dolphins taking Isaiah Wilson here, there's a big drop off at tackle prospect, so his value might be hard to ignore at number 26. And I think if Miami passes him up, that'll be a big mistake. Number 27. Number 27, the Seattle Seahawks. I predict, because they could probably use the help on the defensive line, I predict the Seattle Seahawks at 27 go with Clavon Chasen, linebacker out of LSU. The Seahawks would be happy to see a versatile edge rusher like him, for example, at the back of the first round. So if you're able to get him, get him. But on the other hand, you also have to wonder if he'll stop Seattle from inevitably trading back. I don't think so. Who knows? Maybe Seattle trades up and gets him, but I'm just going, again, as I said in the beginning of my video, I'm just going straight down the line, no trades and no nothing. So, number 28, the Baltimore Ravens. This is going to be a tough one. I predict another linebacker and another LSU player ends up going next. For 28, with the Baltimore Ravens, I predict they select Patrick Queen out of LSU, linebacker. One of Baltimore's top priorities this offseason is going to be making sure that the pass rush gets improved, but the only trouble being is that Matt Judon should be cashing in big time in free agency, and if teams are looking for if a team is looking for a Devin Bush type of linebacker in this draft, Patrick Queen is the closest fit. At least in my opinion, he is. Granted, he's not the biggest linebacker, but his range is impressive, and he'll close in on the ball in a real hurry. I've seen what this guy can do. Trust me. If Baltimore's able to pick him up, then they'll have made a good decision, in my opinion. Number 29, the Tennessee Titans. I predict with the Tennessee Titans, Terrell Lewis, edge rusher out of the University of Alabama. Some people have actually gone so far as to compare him to Danielle Hunter of the Minnesota Vikings. And the Tennessee Titans would love nothing more than to get a player like him in the first round. But Terrell's comfortable standing up on the outside, and he can also play with his hands down. So if you're looking for a lockdown edge rusher for the Tennessee Titans, and you're able to get one in the first round, I think Terrell Lewis is the caliber player you're looking for. Number 30. I hate this team with a passion, but I'm going to put that on the back burner for right now. And here it goes. The Green Bay Packers. I don't even know why I'm going to read this pick, but I'm going to be fair, and I'm going to give my honest take on it. And forgive me for mispronouncing the name. Brandon, I believe it's pronounced Aiyuk, Aiyuk. Brandon Aiyuk, wide receiver out of Arizona State. I believe he dropped out of the Senior Bowl, but on the other hand, I don't think that's going to stop him from potentially sneaking into the first round if he has a strong showing at the combine. And from some of the footage I've seen on him on YouTube, he's a monster after the catch, and he's able to box out defensive backs in traffic, and he's got the speed to prove it. Will Green Bay go for a wide receiver, or will they go defense? A couple of my coworkers, for example, where I work, they're Green Bay Packers fans. One of them said we need to go defense. Another one said we need to go offense, and another one said as long as we get someone good, I don't care what position that person plays. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Number 31, the San Francisco 49ers. I predict they go with Christian Fulton, cornerback out of LSU. And even though Richard Sherman's revived his career with the 49ers, San Francisco's talent at cornerback beyond him is just lackluster, in my opinion. And I think Christian Fulton is an aggressive corner. He'll be able to come up and play the run and can stick with physical receivers on the outside. So if you need a number two alongside Richard Sherman, I think you got the perfect option in Christian Fulton right there. You know, especially with his speed and the height that he has, he'll be able to help out no problem. And last but not least, number 32, the Kansas City Chiefs. This one's a bit of a stretch, but I predict they go with Kenneth Murray, linebacker out of Oklahoma, with the 32nd pick. From what I've seen out of Kenneth Murray, he's the kind of guy who the Chiefs can turn into a star with his ability to get into the backfield, especially with his speed and the power that he has. And if the opposing quarterbacks aren't careful, he might just come up either from alongside or right in front of you and tackle you out of your shoes. You know, he'll come after you hard, fast, aggressively, and he'll leave you quaking in both your shoes and your socks if you're not careful. So, Anyway, long story short, guys, I tried to get this video out as fast as I could. I apologize if it didn't come out that great. Let me know your thoughts, comments, etc. And, do you think maybe in the first round someone trades up or someone else trades down or whatever else of that nature? I don't know. We'll have to see when the draft finally happens. So, if in the event or events that you haven't already, please subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Whatever other various links and ways are that you can follow me that I have posted on my bio here on YouTube, and keep in touch. Let me know what you think, and keep an eye out for more videos in the future. So, have a good one. Let's see what happens when the draft rolls around, and that's really about it. So, post your comments, let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy.